Ladies and gentlemen, D&D is a marvelous game that is best played with inventiveness, creativity, and a willingness to engage in a communal suspension of disbelief. The rules are strict and clear for the most part, and the game feels fairly well balanced, no matter which combination of class and race and feats are taken. I say feels because it's hard to judge the true balance of a game that relies so much on the players and the dungeon master's inclinations. In truth, I've never seen a character fail to shine, be it in role-playing, puzzle-solving, or creative planning. New players pleasantly surprise us more often than not. However, in combat, experienced players are often more effective. Some could argue it's their duty, given that their newer companions don't yet understand the complex mechanics and strategies and need to be guided through these conflicts. In this video, I will show you one of my favorite character builds that I've optimized across years of playing D&D, a deadly assassin named Somel. Though there may be builds that do more damage over time or accomplish marvelous magical things, I believe this is the most damage a single player can do in a single turn without outside help from another party member. I've also made it comply to the Adventure League's rules, meaning I've only used the player's handbook and one additional source, Xanathar's Guide to Everything. At level 1, we create Somel. Any elf works, but I enjoy the concept of a drow elf assassin, and the increased dark vision is not to be underestimated. We use standard array of scores, though you could use point buy for more rapid damage at lower levels. Put the 15 in dexterity, the 14 into strength, and the 13 into charisma. You can distribute the other scores as you wish. With our racial bonuses, this increases to 17 dexterity and 14 charisma. Until level 3, we take levels in rogue, enjoying the life of shadows, where we pick the assassin archetype, which is available in the player's handbook. Then, Somel makes a friend, a cleric or fighter, who guides him away from assassination. We obtain our next 2 levels in Paladin, before deciding that the gods are not our passion. We turn to fighting, training to be as good a fighter as we are a rogue, becoming a battle master at 3rd level, which is also available in the player's handbook. At last, Somel has another final life-changing event. He meets someone he falls deeply in love with, who admires music as much as she admires him. So, to impress her, he turns to the bardic colleges, intuitively growing attached to the College of Swords, found in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. The love eventually dies, but Somel keeps at his bardic studies, becoming a fully fledged 20th level character with 12 levels in Bard, 2 in Paladin, 3 in Fighter, and 3 in Rogue. A confusing mix of classes, Somel lives an adventurous and deadly life. He is called upon to kill a fiend, a powerful creature that has been terrorizing thousands of people after only barely awakening from a deep slumber. Somel heads to the town, sneaks up on the fiend, and stabs him with surprise. The fiend collapses in less than 6 seconds, dead. But how is Somel so powerful? How did he achieve this? Let's take it one step at a time. The 3 levels in Rogue grant Somel the Assassination class feature. This means he has advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn in combat yet. In addition, any hit he scores against a creature that is surprised is a critical hit. The levels in Rogue also grant him 2d6 sneak attack damage, which he can apply under certain conditions, once per turn. The Paladin levels grant him Divine Smite. This is the backbone of the build. It's important to note that the Paladin Smite can use spell slots granted through multiclassing to deal damage. Each Paladin Smite deals 2d8 plus 1d8 per level of the spell slot above 1, to a maximum of 5d8 using a 4th level spell slot. This increases by 1d8 against a fiend, to a maximum of 6d8 per attack. The fighter levels grant Somel 2 things. Action Surge grants us the ability to use an additional action per turn, which we will use to take the attack action. The Battle Master archetype grants Somel 4 d8 die, which can be used to apply various effects to attacks. The important thing to note is that they can be used to deal extra damage, but only once per attack. However, since we'll be doing more than 4 attacks in our turn, we can add 48 to our total damage. The Bard levels grant Somel the spell slots needed to use Divine Smite. It also grants him the extra attack feature at level 6, and the Magical Secrets feature at level 10, which lets them select 2 spells from any class and add them to their spell list. Somel will be using Magical Secrets to learn the spell Shadow Blade, a warlock spell from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Somel also gains 3 ability score improvements, or ASIs, one of which he will use to increase his dexterity by 2, up to 19, and 2 of which he will use to gain the following feats: Elven Accuracy, increasing his dexterity by a further 1 and bringing it up to 20, and Great Weapon Mastery. Somel also gets the Dueling Fighting Style, increasing the damage of each attack by 2. Finally, Somel learns Blade Flourishes, which allow him, once per turn, to add a Bardic Inspiration die, 1d10 at this level, to the attack's damage. Here are some key points to keep in mind. We assume that all the attacks hit. The enemy is a fiend, and is surprised by the sudden attack, meaning Somel has advantage on the attack rolls, 1 die of which he can roll again thanks to Elven Accuracy, and if he hits, he deals critical damage thanks to the Assassin class feature. Somel attacks 5 times, twice from each attack action, and once from the bonus action attack granted by Great Weapon Mastery, since he scores a critical hit. Somel uses his only 7th level spell slot to create the Shadow Blade in preparation, creating a 5d8 weapon. The weapon has finesse, meaning sneak attack damage applies, and he can use his dexterity modifier. Now, to calculate damage. The simple stuff first. 25 damage from hitting 5 attacks with a dexterity of 20, giving Somel a modifier of +5. 10 damage from hitting 5 attacks with the Dueling Fighting Style. 2d6 from Sneak Attack, 48 from Battle Master, and 1d10 from Slashing Flourish. Now for the bigger numbers. 25d8 from hitting 5 attacks with the Shadow Blade, and 30d8 from using Divine Smite on each of the attacks, using a 4th level or higher spell slot every time. Since every hit is a critical due to the Assassin feature, any dice rolled are rolled a second time. This means the final damage is 35 plus 4d6 plus 8d8 plus 2d10 plus 50d8 plus 60d8. This is a minimum of 159 and a maximum of 1023 damage. Though the spread is big, this build crosses the 1k threshold of damage in a single turn while following the rules as written and complying to the PHB +1 rule. Furthermore, the build is reliable. Given Elven Accuracy, we have 3 tries to hit every attack, so it's highly unlikely to miss. Furthermore, given our Bard and Rogue nature, we have expertise in many skills, including stealth, which is vital to surprising an opponent. We have healing, buffing, and spellcasting from the Bard, fight manipulation with the flourish and maneuvers, and a decent charisma to bluff your way out of situations. We aren't useless once we've killed our primary foe. Our role is simply changed to a somewhat combative supporting type. I would like to add that there are ways to deal more damage. Making Somel a half-orc, for example, adds an extra 5d8 using the Savage Attacker feature, but it makes it far more likely to miss attacks. If you're going for consistency in your assassinations, I believe the variation I presented is the most effective. In conclusion, let me insist that this build is not overpowered, though it may seem so from a distance. The circumstances in which you can assassinate someone effectively are rare in D&D, especially in a party. Furthermore, most times the damage you deal is completely overkill. What dies from over 1,000 damage also dies from less than 200. Every character in D&D attains semi-godhood at 20th level. This is just a streamlined version of the assassin archetype. Let me know if you're interested in some other builds where I push these archetypes to their limit. Thanks for watching.